Hey guys, it's your boy M.K.S here, back with part 3 of this list video. Hope everyone's well. Hope you checked out part 1 and 2. Hope some people out there enjoyed it, all being well, preferably as many people as possible. Hopefully I can entertain people and make people happy and make the world a better place. And hopefully I won't be too boring. But hopefully someone out there finds me interesting in some way at least. So I was talking about how I dream to find out about like Asian banks, business people, entrepreneurs, how to invest in Asia, ideas to come up with to benefit Asia as a continent, to help it network together, possibly how a Pan-Asian network would benefit hopefully all of Asia, and where they can share ideas and collaborate and solve problems together, and as many ideas as possible to benefit Asia and raise the profile of entrepreneurs, finding out about Asia's top entrepreneurs and business people and businesses themselves, and that sort of thing. So please share any information you have about those sorts of things. Anyway, on to my list, or the continuation of the list rather. 21, I hope for Asians to learn from history about what has not worked so well or what has worked well in the past, like things like the East India Company and the East Indies Company, and how they went from the biggest companies in the world to sort of how they dissolved or whatever, what they did well and what they did not so well, and also companies in history where they went wrong and again where they went right, and learning about failures and also successes, how to avoid failures, how to learn from successes, to be inspired by them, but also to learn what works really well. I've heard some people say it's better to learn from failures or mistakes than it is to learn from successes, because they teach you a lot, and that people should stop reading success stories and read or listen to more failures, because you can learn a lot from them about history and things like that. So I love them, but I think it's why not learn from both. And also I think success stories also have their place, because they can teach you how, if you find out this is how Microsoft started and this is what they did well, this is how they grew their business, I think there's surely a place for that, as well as finding out what mistakes even companies like Microsoft may have made. And I think even Mark Zuckerberg said that even Facebook could have went bust so many times, but they cared so much about what they were doing, and though they made lots of mistakes, they managed to see through. Many business people make mistakes, so I don't think people should feel bad about making mistakes, but I think it's good to learn from your own mistakes, or even better to learn from other people's mistakes, which means you don't have to spend as much money or time and all that sort of stuff. So again, learn from all sorts of companies through history, like the East India Company, the East Indies Company, companies that worked and not worked so well in China, India, and wherever else, and also in America and around the world. So I hope for Asians to learn from those, and I think they'll do a lot better if they did, or if they do. So that sort of thing, learning from history as much as possible, which hopefully will benefit Asia's economies and how to get back to what hasn't and has worked for companies, countries, economies, and whatnot. Number 22. Hopefully in the future I'll be able to do videos about famous and successful dyslexic entrepreneurs from Asia itself. So hopefully more Asian entrepreneurs who have dyslexia will come out and talk about their dyslexia, and also hopefully there will be more, because people will see that, because maybe there are a lot of people who could be dyslexic. What I'm thinking is there may be people who could be entrepreneurs, business people, whatever you want to call them, with dyslexia in Asia, but are put off because they're told they're too stupid or dumb or thick or lazy, and they perhaps believe it. And unfortunately, I think sometimes you should listen to all advice, but it doesn't mean you should take all advice on. Take it on board, but it doesn't mean you're going to follow through with each bit of advice, because if someone tells you you're really smart and someone tells you you're really stupid, you have to obviously pick one side of which one you're going to listen to. And I think obviously I don't think you should think that you're smarter than you are, but I think that thinking you're stupid, you're probably going to be proven right eventually, or you're not going to take on things that you want to take, so you're always going to reconfirm what you think, most likely, I suppose, if you know what I mean. And as someone said in history, I can't remember who it was, but the person who thinks they're right and the person who thinks they're wrong are most likely right either way. The person who thinks they're stupid and the person who thinks they're smart are most likely right either way. So a lot of dyslexic people around the world, and I'm sure in Asia and Africa especially, are put off and told they're stupid and all these sort of things, that they're dumb and thick and lazy and whatever, and they believe it. So I think, even though you think a teacher's smart and you should always listen to your teacher, I think you should always follow their advice. And I don't think teachers or even doctors probably always know best. I mean, I know they're very smart. I wouldn't say you should definitely not listen to your doctors or your teachers, but I think there is a time where you have to follow your own discernment. And like, if you believe your teacher's bright, and when they call you stupid, then you're probably always going to fail. But if you believe that you can prove them wrong, then I think it can drive you to. And lots of dyslexic people have already done that. They were told this unteachable and all that. So I'm not sure how many people in Asia with dyslexia are entrepreneurs, but if the number is quite low, then I think Asia is missing out on potential entrepreneurs, because in America there were about 35% of self-made millionaires are dyslexic, and in the UK it's 20%. So if people in Africa and Asia know that, then they might think, well, if we want our economies to do even better, then maybe dyslexic people can set up businesses and do amazing things and things like that. So I just heard noise outside. I was wondering if it was thunder again. It looks really nice out there, but sometimes I wonder if I hear thunder or not. Anyway, so yeah, I think investing in dyslexics in the future. I'd love to be able to do a video in the future talking about 30 Asian entrepreneurs with dyslexia. If you're an Asian entrepreneur, whether from Asia or not, or even a part Asian entrepreneur, please share your story, because then it can inspire other people, and maybe I can cover you if you want. With your permission, if you would like me to do a video covering you as an Asian entrepreneur or part Asian entrepreneur with dyslexia, I would love to do so in the future. So maybe one day, maybe in August this year or next year or whenever, I'll be able to do a video about that. So we'll see how it goes. Number 23, I hope to fundraise people from slums and orphanages, again, teach about business, disadvantaged groups, poorer groups, and people from all over Asia, even like some from the very poorest to the very richest, to fundraise, and again to encourage banks to invest in Asian businesses, and also encourage investment into Asia, as well as teaching people in Asia how to set up their own businesses and things like that and invest. As I said before, fortunately, I'm not a business person or entrepreneur, and I'm not an investor, but other people who are investors, maybe even dyslexic investors from the UK or America, can go and teach in Asia and teach their fellow dyslexics who they have something in common with, mentor them and things like that. So I think I forgot to mention that point I was going to say earlier. I've seen like a few dyslexic investors on YouTube with their own channels, so maybe they could go mentor if they wanted to, but obviously it's their choice. But I hope to do as much fundraising as possible for Asia. And on that note, actually, I just thought about this as well. Through sport like football, tennis, basketball, badminton, cricket, or whatever other sport, for me it'd be football and Serie A and Celtic and all that. Could invest in Asian entrepreneurs and training people from Asia, and education, training people in science, engineering, architecture, teaching them English, other such educational materials, whether that's academic or entrepreneurship or whatever other sort of other things they can learn. What key skills people can learn. Obviously, not everyone's going to be an entrepreneur, but maybe even training up people to become doctors in Asia and places like that, and scientists, and cure diseases and things like that, tackle global warming. So like I love Serie A, Italian football, and Celtic to do things like that. And what would come back to Celtic and Serie A respectively would be hopefully more fans from Asia who will support the football team in return, because they'll be thankful that, and maybe even like fundraising for them to have their own kits and their own footballs, because people who can't afford footballs or kits, that's like part of what we could do to support them. So I hope to do as much as I can for charity. A lot of my channel is about that. Most of the things I want to do, like pretty much everything in my life, I want to dedicate. I just want enough to live on, enough to eat, drink, have shelter, and all that kind of thing. Make YouTube videos, but other than that, I mainly hope to support what groups I've talked about, like people from Africa, Indigenous people from what I call the four: Africa, Australasia, Aborigines, Maoris, people like that, Native Americans, and people from Asia, especially, and also Ireland and Italian football and Celtic. So they're pretty much, and homeless people around the world, and disabled people and disadvantaged people. So that's pretty much what I hope to dedicate my life to, supporting those groups as much as possible, make the world a better place. Number 24, again, I hope to promote Pan-Asianism and make the videos about Pan-Asian networks in business and politics and other such areas. 25, I once again hope to support republics. I've mentioned this before, so please forgive me for repeating myself. Number 26, I hope to encourage countries that were colonized to network together, countries that would be split up, to network together in business, like invest in each other, have networking events together, and that sort of thing. Number 27, again, hope to encourage people from Asia and Africa and investors and business people, even governments perhaps, invest in Italian football and Celtic, and look at tax deals, which is another thing I want to come to actually. On that note, number 28, I hope to look at like groups that I dream to become tax havens, or what I dream tax to be spent on or for. So like if in like countries that are colonized, maybe as a form of reparations, could become tax havens. I don't know if you just heard that, my stomach was rumbling. Anyway, could become tax havens and that sort of thing. Yeah, so I want to talk about a list of 30 groups that I wish to become tax havens, or what I dream tax will be spent on more of, and that sort of thing. And possibly have another video where I talk about a list of successful entrepreneurs with dyslexia. Number 28, I hope to turn negatives into positives. Number 29, again, hope to have like a video of 30 dyslexic entrepreneurs, successful dyslexic entrepreneurs if I can. And number 30, I hope to, again, share ideas and listen to other people's ideas and have as many ideas as possible for empowering Asia's economies and helping to grow even faster and even stronger and even better. Again, learning from mistakes from the past and looking to how to capitalize on markets in the future, and maybe like people from Asia making things like baby shark toys and selling around the world. And I know many things are manufactured in China and India and places like that anyway, so I hope to support their manufacturing and all their possible ventures and projects. Again, I'd love to hear from you what you think are the best ways to empower and benefit Asia. And maybe that's what I'll leave this video with, which is a question: what do you think are the best ways to empower people from Asia and support their economies? And I'd love to work with Asian governments in the future and help them to network together and promote Pan-Asianism. And sorry, the video is a bit long, and I apologize if I repeat any points. As ever, I'd love to know what you think. Peace and love.